What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Lava's favorite nerd. Today we are looking at Planet X's Slag, which is, actually I think they call him Slug now because Slag is like a bad word in Britain or something. Well, who knows? And from the Planet X Fall of Cybertron Dinobot collection. Comes with more accessories than I've seen with the previous two. We get 2 guns, one for each of you, red paint down the top barrel. The rest is pretty plain, but decent line work. Some paint would have made it pop, but they painted the bullets in there. Like, you know what I mean? Can you imagine? Same on this side, or this gun rather. Then 2 swords, translucent in the middle, the plastic over top, and then all this stuff can plug in. Actually, that one can. I wonder if this plugs into there. I wonder if there's any other. I don't know. I'm sure you can arm him up and make him look as absurd as you would like. But we're not going to be doing that here. So this guy's also pretty cool. Matches the aesthetic overall very well. They really nailed the likeness. Like, I gotta say, I gotta give it to them. Likeness is a hard thing to get with transforming toys, and and they get it. So head. All right, we got a hinge here. It's actually a double hinge, and then that comes out to a hinge here. And then that's connected to a ball peg here. So, truthfully, you can kind of use just this base hinge without destroying it too much. But you start manipulating it too far, it does start to destroy the sculpt. Ball joint works fine. Get you the swivel and all around. And all of the frills and thrills on his head crest are on hinges where you can kind of tuck them in and get them out of the way and whatnot. All the paint kind of the same we've been used to so far. Spoiled in to some extent with these the glowing reds and the reds on the brown plastic, and it's good stuff. It's pride in this whole line. I have to admit, even despite any faults. We got a mouth hinge. You can't go too far without destroying the sculpt. I will say that. That's a bit of a bummer. But still, actually, maybe I got it wrong because it's connected to a ball peg that's on a hinge. So, yeah, no, actually, never mind. Disregard. Strike the last statement from my deposition. Works just fine. Otherwise, good to go. All right, shoulders. We got a hinge system up in the torso that comes out to a ball peg that gets you a little bit of a shoulder up and down, but not much. This is also on a hinge. Bicep swivel, for lack of a thigh swivel, whatever you want to call it, for the foot, leg, arm, whatevs. And then we have a double jointed elbow / knee. And then the paw or hoof is on a hinge as well. Same on the other side. For the back, we have a ball peg that comes out to here. Doesn't get much out of it, though, I must admit. You do get the swivel and stuff. That works fine. Also, the thigh swivel. And then you have a ball peg on a hinge here for the ankle tilt, and a knee here as well. And then the ball joint gets you the ankle tilt. I said that already, but there's no rocker on any of it, so that is slightly unfortunate. I know it's hard to do, so I won't hold it too much against them. Oh, hey now. But yeah, all these translucent bits here really add some character and make him look pretty threatening and intimidating and menacing, I dare say. But yeah, pretty cool little guy. Nothing for the tail. Alright, let's give this a go. There's some tricky stuff going on here. So, split the tail, fold these pieces down, and then lift this up. And then untab these side wings here. And that should allow you to rotate these the legs down. Now, this tail can eat me up, but we're gonna give it a go. I think it's easier to just go ahead and separate this now. We're gonna kind of do what you got to do to get this tail out of the way. Don't worry, he'll be back with a vengeance. Same on the other side. All right, so now you're kind of here. Open this up like this, rotate this around, rotate the thigh 180. That comes back in. This comes down, forms the foot. I think we've seen this before. This sort of maneuver. Same on that side. Alright. Wish me luck. So this rotates down, spins around, and like it's hard to explain exactly what I'm doing. But I did it somehow, some way. Like when I talk, all right. So when I talk about intuitiveness with the transformation, like I was concerned because I did it right the first time too. But let's see. All right, I did it again. So there's a lot of moving pieces here, but somehow, like, it just, you start messing with it, and it like instinctually you want to put it a certain way, and it works. You know that pieces spin. They have to spin for a reason. Like if you have Transformers, you know what I'm talking about. So you know to spin them, and then it all plugs in. And that is what I talk about with like an intuitive transformation. Like it's just like, I don't know. So this piece comes down, and then these pieces fold around it, and that's that. Let's raise the camera up a taste. We're not out of the woods yet, folks. Alright, so you got to untab this piece here, the whole front chest. Flip the head up. Rotate the shoulders up. And then plug it back in. There's 2 tab holes, so it's meant to tab into different parts at different times or whatever. Make sure this head, this little neck hinge here is there. Gives me a hard time. And then just make sure it's all lined back up correctly, and you'll find that he's good to go. Rotate these to the front, and rotate the hands down, and then close this back in. Same thing. You know, it's our favorite hand transformation. Alright, one last step here. Open these up, fold the first flaps in, move this down, and there's remember we've talked about this so far, like they love hinges. So there's a way that this all kind of collapses, and then this mouth bit fits down in that cavity behind his head. And I'm going to see if I can't make that happen for you. And you know you've got it right when this tabs into those 2 pieces down there. And there, I feel like some of the pieces here are tighter than others. Like some of the moving hinges. There, I've almost got her. There. And that's that. And then you can have the horns up. And I think in the game, the horns were down. Now, I want to mention this. So, like, this horn moves well. This horn, something's going on. I don't know if he has damaged this or added some something to it to give it a little bit more friction. But I don't want to mess with this too much because I feel like something is going on there that he did. Maybe it was too loose initially and he had to tighten it up. Like that ball joint is loose too. And that's this fella. There's one thing I should mention, and that is he does have heel spurs, and it's probably best to do it before you collapse this in. I knew things were going too well. So bring those down and then collapse and then put that back in. And of course, same for the other side. So the head is on a ball joint. It's loose as a goose, if you know what I'm saying. Barely holds the down position. Does hold up. You do get a fair amount down. Head turns side to side, but it's just kind of, I don't know. It's just not well toleranced. And then the red paint looks pretty good on there. For the arms, the same hinge, which works quite well in dinosaur mode and in robot mode, I must say. Gets him an up and down movement here and then out to the side, but only out to there. It is a bit hindered, mainly because of this shoulder pad. And then bicep swivel, double jointed elbow getting you 90 degrees, wrist swivel, fingers open at the base knuckle on a single pin. Same on the other side. As far as paint, we still got the glowing stuff, still got the red paint. All still looks good, all still shines through. Moving down, we have a waist swivel. That's tight. Then we have the gray paint on there, breaking that up with the translucent red, and then we have like a silver. No, that's a gray paint on there as well, and that looks good. Couple places where I feel like it could have used a second coat, but overall it looks good. Hips, universals, forward, no problem. Back, no problem. Out to the side on a soft ratchet, and that's kind of the weird thing. Like Snarl had ratchets, Slag has ratchets, but Grimlock didn't have ratchets, and he's like the weightier piece, you know. Weird. Thigh swivel just above the knee. Paint looks great on the thighs there. Really breaks it up. That's perfect little, like, you know what I mean? Little spice of life. You got these knee pads here. They are dangerous. You fold those down, and then you get a knee that is barely there. So that's not the best. Red paint looks magnificent on the calves, and so does all the glowing paint. Still shines through. Good use of paint. I've talked about that before as well. We'll talk about it here in a second. But ankle tilt, ankle rocker. It's all on the foot, but works just fine. And that all comes across quite nicely. A very good piece overall. A couple issues, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Well, let me see him. We'll talk about him in a size comparison and have him holding some accessories and talk about that at the same time. Size comparison wise, there he is next to Starscream, and then we're going to show him all in robot mode at the end, and he holds his accessories just fine, in case you were wondering. Now, as an action figure, I got to admit he's probably my favorite, but that doesn't mean he's not without his issues. So we still have a few of the joint inconsistencies. Some joints are a little tight, some joints are a little loose. But overall, I like this one much better. The head obviously is a bit too loose, and it looks like one of the horns was a bit too loose, but it has since been fixed since I've gotten a hold of it. The waist swivel is fine, but because of the kibble on the backpack, it's hard to get a full range of the waist swivel when you have him in a dynamic pose because it gets hung up on the thigh, as it is there. And that's really my main complaints. My other complaint is a nitpick, but it's a thing of mine. There's some significant. Not significant, that's not fair. There's some paint chipping. There's some paint chipping here, and there's some paint chipping along the red in there. And I haven't seen that with the other two, so to see it here is a bit of a bummer because I've really come to appreciate their paint. And there's still plenty of paint to appreciate here. I'm just pointing that out. But the positives are the transformation is like, there's so many moving pieces here. This is a good example, right? So X-Transbots, I've criticized them before for having too many moving pieces. This thing has tons of moving pieces, but everything flows. It flows well, and the pieces feel secure, and nothing feels like it's going to break, even with little fragile spikes and tips and this-a-da-do. It never feels like it's going to break on you. And everything moves fluently, everything moves smoothly, sometimes a bit too smoothly, right? But for the most part, everything moves very well in terms of how the thing actually transforms. It's a breath of fresh air. I love the transformation of this figure. It feels like a work of art. The way that the tail and stuff kind of collapse and the way that the head kind of collapses, like it's quite good. It's fun, it's enjoyable, it's challenging in the sense that it's like figuring it out is fun. It's when figuring out is a nuisance where it becomes kind of a different sort of situation, right? The paint, with the exception of the few chips that are here and there, is still done really well, and the likeness, once again, is still done really well. It's hard to nail likeness when there's so many things that have to move, especially pieces like this where everything is moving, and it still manages to maintain that shape that you know in correlation to the character from that game. It's a well done unit. Quite nice. And like I said, in the end, we'll talk about it all a little bit more in depth. But for right now, solid unit, Mac. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. So, I don't think I need to warn you. Apparently, tiger's blood might have AIDS in it. You know, isn't that guy's career something else?
Mr. Sheen has led an interesting life.
You know, in the 80s, he was kind of a legitimate actor.
Yes.
He did, like, Platoon. He was, like, wasn't he in a baseball movie or something?
I believe that was in the 90s.
Yeah, well, okay, good.
Yes.
In the 90s, he kind of became, like, a joke. He did Hot Shots.
Yes.
He did, you know, like...
Wild Thing.
Wild Things, which was, like, more of a legitimate role, I guess. But...
Major Leagues 1 and 2.
Then he disappears for a bit.
It is.
Then he comes back as, like, a madman. Has his own show, and he's talking like nonsense.
Absolutely.
About like
making millions of dollars an episode.
About winning, just to disappear again.
Yes.
And come back with AIDS.
Yes. I think it's HIV, not full-blown AIDS.
That guy's career is just—it's like Oprah's weight, just down and up.
So what does Mr. Sheen bring to you right now?
I think just confusion.
You're confused.
And maybe a little bit of pity.
Your pity.
You know, because I think the guy does have entertainment at heart. You know, I think that he's not as crazy as, you know, he's crazy like a fox. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
That guy knows what I'm talking about. I think that it's like one of those things where it's just in the end, it caught up with him.
Maybe you identify a little bit being kind of a crazy man yourself, wild entertainer that you are.
I don't know how true that is, but I like to show people a good time. I don't want the AIDS though. They can keep that bit.
Well, just, watch out for the ingestion of tiger blood. I think you'll be all right.
Maybe I'll get some sort
prostitutes.
Maybe I'll get some sort of. You know what you give me? Give me the Bell's palsy. Just a little bit of lip drag.
Yes.
Not a deal breaker. A little weird at parties. You feel like you got to explain it. Nobody wants to ask. Outside of that, fine. I was at Outback the other day, and I had a cyst on my eye.
Ah.
And it was huge. It was inflamed.
Oh.
I had muddied with it a bit.
So the size of a pinky nail or the size of a grape?
I'd say this thing felt like a goddamn cantaloupe on my face, Doc, but it was probably more so about the size of a golf ball.
Oh, that is large.
I was there with a buddy of mine, Mr. Russman, and he was saying I should just pop it. Well, I was like, look, man, like the more I mess with it, the worse it's getting.
Yes.
So I left it alone. Well, it started leaking.
Yes.
Well, then I popped it.
Oh.
Let me tell you something. It was like Godzilla had stepped off the ridge of the Atlantic. Just huge wave. It was just a nightmare.
Cyst juice.
I felt like that. I could feel the waiter looking at me.
Yes.
Looking, not wanting to judge. So I just said, look, just touch it. Just reach out and touch it with your pinky finger. And pay me 50 cents and you can touch it. It got weirder, Doc.
I could imagine it did.
He didn't want to be my waiter anymore.
Oh.
He left. I got a new lady.
Yes.
She had like this horrible, like you ever seen like an old woman and they got like the veins on their legs?
Yes, the varicose veins.
It was like that but on her face.
Okay.
And she was a young person. And then I caught myself looking at her.
Yes.
And not wanting to ask.
Yes.
Very ironic turn of events. Didn't care for it at all.
And she said, touch it.
No, she never said touch it, but I still to this day I don't know what happened. Like somebody took a baseball bat upside her head like 4 months ago.
So coming back to this, do you believe that you were being pitied like Mr. Sheen?
You know, I think so. I think I was being judged and watched and pitied.
Yes.
You know, so I
do
feel
might have thought
like
you had an STD, even though it was just a cyst. It wasn't like face herpes.
Yeah, it wasn't like face herpes.
Yes.
Well, you know, like sometimes I eat greasy foods.
Yes.
And I get like a little like.
That's not how that works.
Pimple on my lip.
That's not how that works.
And then I start to worry that people will think I'm having a herpes, but like I'm afraid to pop it so it gets worse because I don't want it to be an open sore. It's a whole vicious
herpes cycle.
I got a funny story for you.
Yes.
So we're outside of a couple buddies of mine are up at a bar. This fight between a man and a woman break out, like a domestic squabble.
Wow.
And
a quarrel between lovers.
And the fight is argumentative. You know, it wanders outside, and look, this guy starts putting his hands on her. It wasn't okay.
You know, it was too much.
Yes.
She wasn't hitting him or anything, just completely unprovoked. It was words and he escalated it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we went out there to stop it. And one of my buddies didn't help stop it.
Mm-hmm.
After we stopped it, we broke it up, let the lady get on her way, kind of kept the guy under control. We looked over to our buddy who said, what's up, man? Why aren't you part of the team? And he was like, well, we don't know the story there. And I said, it doesn't matter what the story is. No man should be able to beat a woman that way. And then he said, what if she gave him herpes?